The area around Ball Arena in Denver could be transformed into almost another downtown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Kim Christensen. A massive redevelopment project has been in the works for years. And tonight, parts of that project went before Denver City Council. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause is sitting in those meetings tonight. Rachel, they've been talking about this for hours.
Yeah, and council already approved plans for them to pierce the view plane, essentially waiving building height restrictions near Ball Arena for this project. And just in the last hour, council voted unanimously to rezone that area and approved the agreement between KSE to redevelop that area. Now, Kroenke Sports and Entertainment is behind the 64-acre redevelopment project. They say this would create a new neighborhood with plans for new housing, bike lanes, and open space, as well as amenities like artist space and childcare facilities. Last month, Kroenke promised that in exchange for the exemptions for building height limits and rezoning of that area, they would ensure the Nuggets and the Avalanche will stay here in town until 2050. But not everybody's on board with this. Casey Patinga says carving out these exemptions allows KSE to block out the mountain views, and not just for people who live nearby, but also for the convention center and the art museum.
But most importantly, the unique beauty of Denver will be compromised forever with the addition of possibly 40 high-rise buildings blocking the view of the mountains from various points in the city. Please consider your responsibility to your constituents.
Many others came forward in support of the plan, including Downtown Denver Partnership, saying they're confident this will re-energize that area in a way that will improve the city for the better.
Investment that supports socioeconomic resilience and the overall vibrancy of our city has never been more important. Based on KSE's efforts to achieve the Downtown Area Plan's vision and the terms of the Community Benefits Agreement, we are confident this project will result in transformative, positive growth for downtown that will be felt throughout the region.
Now, council just in the past few minutes here approved an amendment to the development plans between Denver and KSE Elitch Gardens in relation to their plans to redevelop that area near Ball Arena. And KSE didn't say what's going to happen to Elitch Gardens. That meeting here, as they discuss those plans for that area to redevelop near Ball Arena, that meeting's still going strong. We'll bring you those details as they develop. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
People in Idaho Springs woke up today to snow, below freezing wind chills, then a power shutoff. Xcel had warned about 400 customers the power would get turned off this morning for 6 hours. It was so Xcel could replace a wood power pole with a fiberglass one, part of a project to strengthen the grid and reduce wildfire risk. People were told the outage would last until 3 p.m. That changed throughout the day. Customers told us they're just frustrated.
We're getting a lot of confusing messages and information, and that's probably the most frustrating thing, is trying to figure out how we can work around this, work around the cold temperatures, without knowing exactly how long we're going to have to do it.
That power came back on in Idaho Springs, near Idaho Springs, a little after 1 p.m.
Colorado ski season starts tomorrow. Within hours, Wolf Creek Ski Area in Pagosa Springs will be open, the first in the state to do so. It picked up over 2 feet of the snow over the weekend. Closer to Denver, Keystone says it will open on Friday. Most others are planning to open next month.
Yeah, they don't mess around at Wolf Creek, Kathy. They are always like right out of the gate.
Let's go.
They're ready to go. And I bet you Telluride won't be far behind them. Look at all of the snow in southern Colorado. This picture coming in from Steve Gumbel. Our southern Colorado mountains picked up 1 to 2 feet of snow. Here along the Front Range and across the northern and central mountains, not too shabby. 11 inches at Copper Mountain, 10 at Loveland, 8 at A Basin, almost 8 at Breck, and 7 in the Winter Park area. This is the storm system, kind of a spring-like storm. Many of us woke up to thunder, lightning, pea-sized hail, and heavy rain. That system is headed into Nebraska and Kansas, where it's producing storms with 1-inch diameter hail tonight. This is happening around Omaha, down to Junction City and Kansas City. Temperatures have come down out of the 60s into the low 50s. Some areas will go into the 20s tonight, but thankfully the wind, which was so cold and blustery today, letting up along the Front Range, still gusty in Wyoming and over some of the higher passes and in areas like Dumont and Blackhawk with winds to 35 and 40 miles per hour. Weather headlines: this morning storm system that we all saw that was kind of crazy is moving out. Mountain snow, everybody's talking about that. We have a warmer, drier weather pattern for Denver, but also another storm system on the way. The timing and impact of that next weather change is coming up.
An Aurora campus police officer is recovering tonight after being shot early this morning. Police say 29-year-old Aaron Vanier was breaking into a car just after 1:15 this morning when two officers confronted him. They say he ran off. Officers chased him and deployed a taser. It's not clear if they hit him, but they say he opened fire on them, hitting one officer in the arm. That officer is going to be okay. Vanier was eventually arrested. He was taken to the hospital to be checked out. He's facing charges of attempted homicide and assault on a peace officer. Aurora police say the 18-year-old man they shot and killed over the weekend beat his mother and threatened her with a gun. Officers were called to the complex not far from Jewel and Peoria late Saturday night. They say they received several calls about the armed man and his mother, who was still in the apartment with him. Police called in an armored vehicle, tried to communicate with him by phone and by calling out his name with a bullhorn. Eventually, his mother walked out of the apartment. Police say seconds later, he appeared in the doorway and opened fire on officers. Police say the SWAT vehicle was hit with several rounds. An officer fired back, hitting him.
On that evening, they knew what they were heading into. They knew they were heading into a situation where there was an armed individual who was beating somebody drastically, victimizing somebody, and victimized other people's, and they still stepped forward when most everybody else would step back. These officers did this on behalf of the department, they did it on behalf of the community, and they did it on behalf of those victims.
The young man later died at the hospital. The shooting is under investigation.
A woman was shot while confronting men who were breaking into her car. Fort Collins police are now asking for help finding those two men. It happened early this morning on Crown Ridge Lane, not far from Trilby Road. Police say a family member woke up the woman, saw that break-in happening outside. She ran out. One of the men shot her, hit her in the leg. The woman was taken to the hospital where she was treated and released. Those men ran off before officers arrived. Police just want to remind everybody, if you see a crime happening, call 911, wait for them to handle it.
Anytime that anybody's committing any type of crime, there is the possibility that they are armed, and we certainly don't want any of our community members to be injured confronting suspects.
Police do not have good descriptions of the men, only that they were wearing dark clothing and had a backpack. They're asking anybody who lives in that area of Fort Collins to check their security camera footage between 11 o'clock last night and 3 this morning. And if you happen to have a car break-in in that area that was not reported to police, they're asking you to do so they can investigate.
A man accused of killing his brother, his mother, and his sister has pleaded guilty in their deaths. This happened in Aurora back in December of 2022. According to an arrest affidavit, Christopher Martinez called his grandmother, saying he had a dream something bad happened to his family, before he later admitted to killing them while he was drunk. Today, court documents show Martinez pleaded guilty to 3 counts of second-degree murder. Other charges were dismissed as part of the plea agreement. He is set to be sentenced in January.
After years of record-high evictions in Denver and elsewhere around Colorado, the state Supreme Court says tenants have been getting a raw deal. Today, the justices ruled that county courts are often wrong to deny tenants a jury trial in their eviction cases. The court ruling says that every eviction does not need a jury trial and that sending tens of thousands of them to county courts would overwhelm the system. But the court says that eviction proceedings that deal with a factual dispute instead of something like unpaid rent, if there's a fact that is in dispute, then that should be eligible to go to a jury. This is the latest expansion of tenants' rights in Colorado. Earlier this year, Democrats in the state legislature passed a law codifying for-cause evictions. It just means a landlord can't evict a tenant or refuse to renew a lease without a specific reason. A bit over 2 weeks until Election Day, and Democrats in Colorado are reminding voters of their rights. The Office of Democratic Secretary of State Jenna Griswold announced the launch of a new booklet on voters' rights, put together with the help of Democratic State Rep Jennifer Bacon.
If you are even detained and in jail, you can vote so long as you are not serving a sentence for a felony conviction. If you're unhoused, there are ways for you to declare certain spaces as your home, places that you come back to so that you can vote, because you are also valued as a neighbor and member of the Colorado electorate.
You can find a digital version of that booklet at govotecolorado.gov.
Former President Donald Trump is making gains with Latino voters despite years of anti-immigration rhetoric. 10 years ago, about 70% of Latinos voted Democratic. New data suggests that number could fall to the low 50s this election cycle. Latinos say one of the main reasons is discontent with the economy, and the other is immigration.
Hispanics that have come into America legally and have actually become Americans, they are the ones that are most against illegal immigration. When they do it right, they do it correctly. They have a love for the country, and they they respect the rule of law.
Latino voters and advocacy organizations argue neither party spends enough time mobilizing and focusing on Latino voters between elections to build long-lasting support. Our team is making it easier for you to get all the information you need before Election Day. Just text the word VOTE to 303-871-1491. We'll text you a link to our full voter guide.